For all you maggots out there, if you think liberals are being paid to march, why don't you trick the system? Why don't you sign up, pretend to be a liberal, get paid to march, and then go expose the whole operation, huh? Go ahead.
Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by supporting your girl on this channel. So, guys, all credit goes to the creators in these videos. And in today's video,
Like talking about this black and brown need to unite and all this good stuff because of the LA riot and all that stuff. And my thing is, can y'all sub us out for the Asian community? Because the Asians, they getting away with a lot of stuff. They not doing nothing. Ain't nobody mention them. They just living in their own little world, peaceful. Like they ain't got no problems going on over there. They even had the little Stop Hate Asian bill. I don't know if it's still there now though, but they had that bill. You know, they living good. Okay. So my thing is, y'all talking about some, oh, no, it's not all of us Latinos and all that voted for them and all. Because what we can't do is lose all our YNs trying to help y'all and all this stuff when we gonna need our YNs when it's time for our own battle. You get what I'm saying? So, no, we can't be sacrificing all our people for y'all to help y'all. Y'all should have voted, did right at the polls. None of this stuff would have happened. But y'all chose this. Like I say, get them Asians, get the white folks that didn't vote for Trump and all that stuff. Get them people. You know what I'm saying? Leave us alone because, like I say, we going to have our own battles and we going to need our YNs and all that good stuff. We keep our health together and all that for our own battles. Like I say, ask somebody else.
Between people whose politics are bad and people whose politics are underdeveloped. You know, there are people who can have bad policies because they honestly are kind of hateful. And then there are people who can have, like, support policies which are not helpful because they maybe do not understand the full implications of those policies, or their political education is just not as good. And the truth is that most of the time, you won't really know the difference until you've spoken to somebody and you've gotten an idea of what their values are. And that will really tell a lot. Like, if this person values the status quo, if they value their own personal material conditions, or if they value liberation and justice. And sometimes you can talk to people, you know, and get a sense of where they're standing, and maybe understand that, oh, maybe they do not understand the implication of this particular policy, right? I say this in reference to some of the reactions that I've seen of the No Kings marches that happened over this weekend. And a lot of people on the left have been very dismissive or derisive towards them because of like a particular sign that they saw. And I just don't think that you can fully assess like someone's potential for development or revolution or struggle just based on like these very broad strokes. Just something to consider, because the left right now is very small, and I can't think of a single leftist cause or organization with the power to mobilize 5 million people like that. And if we're gonna win, we're gonna need to learn how to do that. And sometimes I think that means learning how to talk to people that we don't understand.
I have been struggling on how to say this, and I made a video earlier, I took it down, but y'all are focusing on the wrong people. Y'all are focusing on why don't black people care what Trump is doing. We do. But we're focusing on us and ourselves to survive through this. What y'all need to be focused on instead of, well, why aren't black people actively protesting and doing all the things that they usually do? One, because we told you we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? We told you. Y'all didn't listen. Two, because we can't help you as much as the people you need to help you. Okay? You need white people. You're focusing on black people, you need to focus on white people. You need to get their attention, their compassion, their empathy, their social and political power. You're focused on the wrong people. You're focused on the wrong demographic. Black people don't make up the vast majority of this country. We don't make up the vast majority of politicians. We are not in the White House. I'm telling you. You need to focus on white people and getting them to actively care and campaign and protest in your name, in your favor, and leave black.
Pains me to say this, but we are living in a day and age where going to a protest is almost like going to a farmer's market, and then you just go from the farmer's market to like the club after. Like, I kid you not, people are going to protest and then going to like Applebee's. Protests have just become social events. Like, people just go to say that they were there, take their Instagram stories, march a little bit, see some people from high school, whatever, and then they leave. And I think that it's interesting to be in this kind of day and age because, you know, we've known what protesting is, and like protesting has been such a huge part of this country and has been such a huge part of change for what feels like such a long time, even though realistically it's not that long. This country is not that old, but it's been such a staple in the American culture and the American conscience that if we want something to change, one thing that we can do is we can protest. And while I'm not saying don't protest, if you feel like you want to go to a protest and you want to, participate in that, be my guest. I mean, you have that right. But what I am saying is that it just feels like now protesting is not what it used to be. And I think that that has a lot of different reasons. For one thing, obviously social media is huge, and the fact that these protests can be so publicized is, I think, a major reason. Word spreads really quickly, and a lot of people who might not care as much about the issue are going to end up being at the protest just to say that they were there. And they want clout, they want to post on Instagram, they want to make it seem as if, they're morally, better than everyone else or morally superior or whatever. So then they end up going to these protests, but they're not really adding to the cause. And then I think after 2020, when the only thing that you could do is go protest, because if you weren't protesting, that the only other time that you would see that many people together was never, because, it was COVID. So then it really did become like a social event, because that was the only event that people were really allowed outside of like really nothing else. I mean, some places you couldn't even go to church. And that pains me to say, because I went to Black Lives Matter protests. Like, I fully did. And I don't regret going. Like, I believe in that cause still to this day. But I think that that's definitely when a shift happened, when people just started, oh, we'll just go to the protests and then we'll do this after. Like, it's such a weird thing. Like, that's not what protests really are supposed to be. It's not supposed to be like some event that you go to and then like leave when you want and then go to like a restaurant after, like, but that's just what it seems like and that's what it feels like. And I'm not saying that people who do that don't care. I'm just saying that the spirit of what a protest used to be versus what it is now are just two completely different things. And I think that how it was before carried more weight, if I'm being honest, because people were willing to risk much more and were willing to be there much longer. There were real leaders, it wasn't super publicized. So it was like the people who really cared about this were there. I just feel like it was completely different as far as the mindset, the people and just the whole thing. It was very different. Like, these protests will be on like Eventbrite. Like, that's what it feels like. I don't know if they're on Eventbrite, but like, it's getting to the point where it's like, yeah, like, I'm going to protest this weekend. Like, what? But yeah, that's
not be the only one thinking this. So you guys know how the whole how Los Angeles is going through the immigration thing, where ICE is popping up and just taking, children and families and everything. And we kind of already knew this was going to happen to a certain extent. I thought it would happen with like criminals and people that are in gangs and people that were not doing good things for this country, not literally hardworking people. But that's not the point. The point is that I remember back in the day when the whole Black Lives Matter movement was going on, and I supported it. I spoke up about it. I posted something about it, and I said something, right? Even though I'm not African American, honestly, why would I care? Because it is still something that's going on, and I did feel like it was unfair, and something should, be said. I know people are going to protest. I mean, could I have done more? Of course. But at the time, I did not. But at least I did speak up about it. What bothers me right now is that, like, a lot of celebrities or people, maybe influencers that we listen to, no one's saying anything. And I guess everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and I completely respect that. I just feel like whenever they're discriminating against the other minorities, I'm gonna be quiet and I'm not gonna say anything, because where were you guys at right now? Like I said, I'm not African American. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to post about it. I didn't have to bring awareness to the subject, but I did, okay? Because it was still unfair, or at least I saw it as like police brutality. Like, what the heck is going on? And the reason why all these protests are going on as well is like to bring awareness, to kind of say, hey, this is not fair. That's how change happens, right? But I just right now, like, going online and listening to some people's thoughts, and they're like, take them all away, deport them all. It's like, how could you be so insensitive? Like I said, I completely agree for deporting criminals and people that are actually doing harm to other people. But to innocent families, perhaps not. I do get that they broke the law. And I'm kind of, it's just the way that it's being done that it's just like, wow. I just kind of can't believe what's going on.